Hey, what's good, fam? Can we talk? Let's talk. So, man, I know I've said this several times before, but I think it's time for me to share what I'm really here for. You know, man, I'm a wilderness baby. If you don't know what that means, during when God led the Israelites out of Egypt, right? They settled in the wilderness for 40 years, all because they was hard headed and stubborn. But while they were in the wilderness, they had babies. And I was one of those kids who was born in the wilderness. I don't remember slavery. I wasn't a part of slavery. I wasn't a part of oppression and social injustices and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's not the season I grew up in. I grew up in a season listening to people say, you can achieve your goals. You can achieve everything you set out to be. That's the season I grew up in. I grew up in a world listening, even going to church, listening to the pastor say, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Ain't he able? Ain't he able? He's able. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. All this stuff. I have not seen, ear have not heard, nor has it even entered into the mind of things that the Lord has prepared for those that love him and called according to his purpose. But then when it was time to see everybody go get it, everybody was scared. Nobody made any moves. Everybody was sitting around making every excuse in the world why they couldn't achieve everything. And which is I found odd because we spent all day in church, literally all day in church on Sunday, listening to the preacher tell us all these promises God made to us that we could accomplish. And now here it is, it's time for us to go get it. Nobody's moving. And it's hard for me because I grew up, and so I thought I was just supposed to just say this stuff. Never was I supposed to actually believe it. And I spent years of my life wasting just sitting around watching everybody else who did believe it go into this land and go get it. It's crazy because when I look up and I think about that particular story, the Bible said God sent 12 spies into the land to go see the land. Make sure that the land was good, flowing with milk and honey. And they came back, and all of them was like, oh man, look, we brought some grapes. We brought one cluster of grapes, and they had to carry it on a pole. One cluster of grapes they had to carry on a pole between 2 and 3 people. That's how fruitful the land was. But when it came time to actually go occupy the land, all the people could come up with was all the people who inhabited the land and how they looked so large and they were so mighty and they were so powerful and they lived in fortified cities. And then the most interesting thing the Bible said is we look like grasshoppers in our own eyes. So we look like that to them. We look like grasshoppers in our own eyes. It's amazing when it comes time to go get it, how fear will settle in and force you to believe something about yourself that nobody even told you to believe. It's crazy because when they started describing the enemies that was in the land, now mind you, they had been in slavery for 400 and some odd years. 400 and some odd years they was in slavery. They don't know nothing about the Amalekites and the sons and the Nephilim and the sons of Anak. They've been in slavery for 400 years, so all they heard was stories about these giants. They don't know whether these giants was even still tough. They don't even know if these people really even still was about that life. They just saw them, and in their own eyes, they became fearful and didn't even go. But it was only two who said, let's go out here and surely we could take them. Caleb and Joshua. And it's crazy because I call myself a child who grew up living next door to Caleb and Joshua. Could you imagine what it was like day in and day out, and Friday nights Caleb and Joshua would have parties over to the house, and every Friday and Saturday night they sitting around telling everybody, hey, I'm telling you, the Lord said we can go get it. I've been over there and seen what it was like. Man, I'm telling you, you got to see it. Man, they got cities, man, with walls. They got hills and mountains. They got rivers flowing. They got I'm telling you, you saw the clusters we got back, because you know how it is. Everybody got a back in the day story. I'm telling you, man, we went over there and kicked it. Man, we brought back clusters with grapes on there. Man, I'm talking, you pulled a grape off the cluster. You had to hold that sucker with two. You dig what I'm saying? Could you imagine what it was like as a kid sitting outside the door? Because you know, we was kids. You can't go in there while grown folks' business. I mean, I know this is biblical, but I figured it had to still go that way. You know, you better get out of here when grown folks is talking. It's grown folk business. Sit your butt out there. But I'm sitting at the door listening to them tell these amazing stories. I'm telling you, oh man, Caleb, you remember that time we went to that one city? Oh, dude, you talking about that one city? You should have seen it, dude. Everybody was walking around with gold robes on and gold necklaces. They was blinging and everything. You should have seen them. It was crazy in that city. We went over there and kicked it. It is flowing with milk and honey. Why ain't nobody going? And the reason why it's so funny that nobody wanted to go, because everybody wanted the life, but everybody didn't want to have to go take it. Everybody wanted the life, but everybody wanted God to just hand it over to them. Everybody wanted the life, but everybody didn't want to have to put in the work to get it. And that's the way it is with us now. Everybody wants the life. Everybody want to be rich. Everybody want to be famous. But nobody wants to go out there and put the work. And so when it comes time to go in and put in the work, now everybody's like, oh man, don't you realize they ain't gonna never let us have this? You can't go there. They'll never let people have this. You can't do this. Man, that's only for them type of people and that type of people. What happened to the same people who were sitting around talking about the whole time? This is a land flowing with milk and honey. The Lord said it was yours. Go take claim to it. Go lay claim to it. Go have it. Everybody else is getting it. And it's crazy because now I look at it, and in today's society, you think about it, all the people, I don't care who you are and where you come from, all the people who say you can't do it, I guarantee you, you know at least somebody who's some success story of somebody who achieved a whole bunch of stuff that came from a worse environment than you did. They grew up in worse conditions than you did. But you know what? All they could see was the milk and honey. All they could see was a land that had something to offer them. All they could see was I can see it. I can see it. And they envisioned it in their mind and they obsessed over it until they went out there and conquered whatever giants was in front of them. Whatever obstacle, I don't care who you are. Whatever job, whatever you want out there, whatever you see out there, it is something for you. You just got to be willing to go out there and conquer those giants. You got to be willing to go out there and put in the work. You got to be willing to go out there and make it happen. You won't take no for an answer. You won't accept failure. You won't accept just being comfortable in a mediocre life. You willing to do whatever it takes. I do whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? You willing to go get it. And that's what it feels like when you're a wilderness baby. You get excited. Let's go out there and get it. But let me tell you the flip side of my life. I spent so much time listening to all the people who said we couldn't, that I spent years believing that I couldn't. And I've spent the last 5 years reshaping my mind and rethinking the way I do, putting together everything, all the stories I remember, listening to everybody telling me. I started watching people who came from worse situations than me. And now's the time. It's time to go get it. It's time to go get it. Come on, y'all. Let's go get it. Let's go out here and go make a difference. Let's go out here and go achieve something. Let's go out here and go achieve greatness. Greatness lies ahead. It is a land flowing with milk and honey out there. Let's go eat. Let's go eat. Man, I'm pumped up. I can't wait to see y'all there because I'm on my way to the promised land. I'm on my way there to go get it. I want everything the Lord said was awaiting for me, and I'm going to go get it. Hope to see y'all there. Y'all be blessed.